Hey guys, I wanted to show you some progressions you can use to help rehabilitate your squat, which is the natural human resting position. And I'm not talking about this type of squat, which is the kind of Western squat. I'm talking about the full flat-footed squat. So being able to get your heels on the ground and not falling backward over this, which is the problem a lot of people have when they try to go into a squat. Another problem a lot of people have is their knees are really internally rotated, or their toes are internally rotated. And there's no real right way to squat. Everyone's going to have a little bit different kind of squat because everyone's anatomy is different. Some people are going to have longer torsos, some people are going to have longer legs. So don't get caught up too much in thinking there's a right way to squat. Whatever's comfortable for you is fine. There's a more relaxed squat, which is like this, and your back is rounded. That's totally fine as long as you're not loading the squat and bearing weight. However, if you are going to be moving around or bearing weight, then you want to be more in an active squat. So the back is more straight and you don't have this rounding going on here. But let's just get into some really simple basic progressions you can use to rehab the squat. So let's start with really simple, just laying down on your back. So you can just go ahead and lay down. And what you're going to do from this position is you're just going to bring your knees forward into toward your chest right here. So this is kind of like, you're kind of squatting, right? But you're not upright. And what you want to check to see is when your knees come forward, does your pelvis tilt and does it create this space right here? That's what we want to avoid. So try to bring your knees up and keep your pelvis down so your back is flat and pressed into the ground. This is going to be the first position that you want to work on for the squat. So again, you can just practice bringing the knees in and keeping the pelvis tucked down. That's the first one. The second one is going to be using the wall for a little bit of assistance. So I'm going to come over here to the wall and let's talk a little bit about getting into this squat. So imagine that there's a chair behind you and you're sticking your butt out and you're trying to feel the chair. That's what you want to feel. So you're leading with the tailbone and you want to try to keep the knees out. So not buckling in, but try to push them out. Imagine you're trying to expand a band wrapped around your legs, and you can even use that if you have a band at home. You can wrap one around your legs, but for now we're just going to progress to assisted squat with using the wall for some support. So I'm going to squat back, touch the wall, and then I'm just going to go down as far as it's comfortable for me, and I'm just going to hold this for a few seconds and then slide back up the wall and press out of it. That's something you can do for a few weeks, maybe even a month, to help you rebuild some of the strength in your squat. All right, so now we're going to try to progress from the wall, which is using a lot of assistance, to just using a little bit of assistance with something in front of you. There's a lot of different ways you can do this, but I'm going to show you a few of them. One is using like a desk, or you can use a countertop or a table, anything that's pretty sturdy. You're just going to squat down, again, leading with the butt, keeping the knees out, and then you're going to grab onto the counter or desk or whatever it is, and you're just going to hold it for a little bit of light assistance, like this. And you're just going to hold for a few seconds, and then come back up. That's one way. Another way is using a doorway. So I'm going to squat down and just grab onto the edges of the molding right here and this trim. And I'm going to, again, lead back with my butt. I might need to inch my feet forward so they're coming a little bit past the wall right here. And I'm just going to use this for a little bit of assistance, lower down, and hold right here. This is going to help a lot with making sure my heels are on the ground. So if I'm not using this, my heels might come up, but if I hold on to this, I can get my heels on the ground and avoid falling back into, back into the ground. So those are a few different options. The last thing I want to show you is a stretch that you can do for the calves. And we'll do a stretch for the calves and actually the hamstrings too, because it's usually this posterior chain that gets really tight that keeps us from being able to get our heels on the ground. So we're limited in ankle mobility from the calves, and a lot of times we get tight hamstrings and tight glutes from just too much sitting. So the first stretch, I'm going to use a yoga block. If you don't have a yoga block, you can use a rock, you can use a medicine ball. But basically, you're just going to put your heel, or you're just going to put your toes up onto the block, and you're going to just bend down a little bit. You're really going to feel this in your calf and all through the back side of your leg. So that's one. You can do the other side. I want to make sure my foot is in line with the other foot, rather than it being back like this. So again, you're just going to come down, pulse a couple of times, and then hold for about 10 seconds. And then you're going to come back up. Watch out, Sophie. The next stretch is basically a simple downward facing dog. So you might have done this in yoga, but it's really, really helpful actually for the squat. So you're going to come down into all fours, making sure your shoulders are above the wrists, your hips are above the knees, and you're just going to press up. And see, your heels might not be able to get to the ground, but by bending one leg, one knee, you can get one heel down, and then bending the other, you can get the other heel down. So you can just kind of alternate here. And that can be a really good stretch for just opening up the back side of your body and just creating a little bit more mobility so you can get your heels on the ground when you're doing the flat-footed squat. So I hope those progressions are helpful for you. I hope that this helps you rehab your squat and enjoy happy squatting.